Hello, and welcome to the Memory Arcade. And my capture card hasn't initialized. Go into the settings, click on activate. There we go. So, Blasphemous, where were we? I think we just did this. Yeah, we were, I think, home? Like, this might be... I guess this might be our people, the Brotherhood of the Silent Sorrow. The game is pretty mum on giving you a story up front. It's really more about yeah, this might but just that's just the end of the jumping puzzle. Okay. Yeah. So we helped that one pilgrim out. We have this thing which can absolve us of all guilt, which is okay. Like, it's not, it's okay that we don't make use of that now, because I have a pretty good idea where guild is, and we have to go there. Anyway. You know, I always think, or in the back of my head, there's always this thought: hey, why do you post stream announcements to Mastodon? It's a comparatively small network, but I've honestly gotten both replies on the network and people here in chat telling me, hey, I came over from Mastodon. Quite a bit, and yeah, it's very encouraging. Not just in the sense for me to keep posting on Mastodon, but also just in general that there might be a life after Twitter of this here internet. Because I can't speak for everybody, but I'm probably speaking for a lot of people who only use Twitter because more in spite of itself and the way it is run has become quite horrible in many ways. Anyway, let's not talk about horrible things. Let's talk about the wonderful, cheerful world of Blasphemous, where we are the penitent one, bathed in blood of our enemies, and apparently not for any kind of enjoyment. There's that shortcut. There we go. Yeah, I'm not even sure what the penitent one is doing, like why they're doing it. It's not all that clear. There I go, pressing the wrong button. That's okay, these enemies are easy. We have to go to 3 places and do things in these 3 places. It usually entails a boss fight, and then at the first place we had a very very intense vision of a face bleeding gold. It was a whole thing. Still 5 chains. I could have sworn I removed one yet. But maybe these parts of the chains are not affected until I've dealt with all of them. Oh, and that's a shortcut back. Yeah. So I'm not even sure what the penitent one is doing, aside from being very penitent. Um, Big little secret, but if you let that guy run into a wall 10 times, he dies from head trauma? He really does? I mean, I would believe it. Or was that a question? Ah, that's gotta be 4 times at least. Oh, okay. Never mind. I appreciate it as a joke. Honestly, it would be kind of funny, but also I feel this world is entirely too stubborn to do that. That shortcut is appreciated. Game's very granular with shortcuts, which I really like. Statue here, and the last shred of guild should be here, maybe? Oh, yeah, I remember this whole situation. Guess it would be faster if I just run off screen and come back. Yep. Ah, can't grab onto those. Yeah, I mean, oh no, I didn't pray at the center of the whole complex. Eh. Gotta do a bit of wandering. I mean, I just finished a playthrough of Demon's Souls, and that game is way less lenient with the shortcuts. Like, there are shortcuts sometimes, but you're still looking at maybe 5 to 10 minutes of walking and dodging enemies if you want to. Okay, first things first, this one. 5 to 10 minutes if you want to get back where you were if you die a good deal after a shortcut. I'm not even gonna bother with these clowns. It is, yeah. Like the shortcuts in Demon's Souls feel more like checkpoints. Like mid-level checkpoints as they used to be in older games. I like that there's no knockback from these enemies. Okay. We're safe. Yeah, some of them, like I had not played Demon's Souls in probably 4 years before I picked it back up recently. And some of the levels, they still managed to stick with me. Like obviously Solitaria Palace, but also that's also one of my favorite Souls levels, period. But yeah, with some of them it's pretty diffuse. Like, I mean, with some levels it's probably also intentional that you are constantly lost, like Valley of the Fireman, the whole poison area. I honestly couldn't draw you a map of that now, even though I just finished it yesterday. Or the day before, I don't know. Yeah, that one too. All the levels, like the different levels of the jail have basically the same layout, just with slight differences. And... oh shit. That was a death by inches. When I first played Demon's Souls, I was completely new to the series, and I cheesed a lot of these bosses with bow and arrow tactics, sometimes through the fog gate, which I'm definitely not proud of in hindsight, and this time I did them all properly. But yeah, the bosses are very memorable in general. It's a very good boss cast. I like that they did the thing in the credits, like in a Mega Man game, where they show concept art of all the bosses in order. I guess we got the angel / baby, whatever. That's progress. That's just shameful. still felt really good doing Flame Lurker completely with bow and arrow from a distance. It was still a proper boss fight, because of course the motherfucker keeps coming at you. But since pretty much everything he throws at you has this searing fire aura. Yeah, this one, I think the first time I just wailed on him and got really lucky. And this time I used a decent bow to do maybe like 100 per arrow. And yeah, bows and arrows are a decent option in Demon's Souls. They nerfed them to hell and back over subsequent games, which is a shame. Oh yeah, I can imagine. The geometry in Souls games can fuck both the enemies and the player all the time. Shit! I forgot. Why would I forget? Was it that bad later on, before the servers got shut down? People mourned those servers, but it's a valid question. How many people are still playing these games? I also don't remember how bad the lag was in Demon's Souls for multiplayer, because Dark Souls could get way annoying with lag stabbing. Ooh. Look at me doing it in one go. Okay, I want the other thing to come around. Heart of the Holy Purge. Sword core blessed with fervent prayers can be inserted into mea culpa, increases the tears of atonement reaped, but prevents the use of bile flasks. Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. I mean, there's an obvious use for this, for grinding, but not while dungeon crawling or fighting bosses. Still offer this. The legend of mea culpa, the sword of guilt. It is said that a stone statue covered with petals was once a young woman who, tormented by a deep feeling of guilt, what else, struck her chest with the figure of her father, asking him to be punished. The miracle manifested itself in the figure of the father, emerging from her a wide and long edge, a great rooted sword, which pierced his guilty heart to later transform his body into stone. His? I thought it was a woman. Oh. His body into stone. That sword was called Mea Culpa, in allusion to the last words of the young woman. Yeah, I mean, we saw that happen in the intro. I guess now we have a measure of clarification. Also, I'm supposed to go back through all of this bullshit? I'm so tempted to just die and buy off the guild at a statue. But sure, let's do it. Oh, wait. You can cheese it like that? Oh, thanks for that. That's really good advice. Also, I can totally see the speedrunning community using the hell out of that. That's where I want to be going, right? Yeah, sort of. Okay. Eh. You gotta love how Nintendo games, or Nintendo consoles, will always find ways into your art, but then you have to confirm everything with the A button on a Nintendo console. And it fucks you up royally. Shit. Oh, a bouquet of rosemary. Is this for our friends at the village? Bunch of aromatic herbs come. Thank you for the follow. And have a lot of fun with your stream. Bunch of aromatic herbs common not long ago. The forest of the Holy Trail. Oh, not long ago, along the forest of the Holy Trail. Today, however, the scarcity makes them increasingly valuable, especially for those who discern their healing abilities. Confessions of Tirso Part 5. Congregation members witness to the phenomenon watched in astonishment and fear, except for one of our sisters who knelt beside me and without fear of contagion kissed one of the terrible sores that the affection had caused on the young man. The wound began to close. The brothers fell to their knees amidst tears and prayers. Ugh. don't see a way of triggering that from this side, so I'm gonna loop around. Oh. Unless... That's the wrong button. Oh, damn. This might be a bad idea. It was! Oh. And if you really want to do this, we can totally do this. So I was a little worried about buying this on the Switch after Bloodstained got it such an amazing port. I guess they're trying to make it better, so I shouldn't badmouth them too much, but apparently, yeah, on launch, I'm not sure what the status is now, the performance of Bloodstained on the Switch is pretty bad, and... Okay, so this just goes both ways, I guess. Oh. Weird. So I did a little bit of research on how this game performs on the Switch, because generally games like this, I like buying them on the Switch. I like supporting the platform, and also it feels good to build a library on it. Okay. I will note a little bit of micro stutter here and there when I think it's loading new stuff from the internal storage, because this is a digital purchase. I think this is where the relic funnel comes in. I'll read this properly out. Just want to finish my thought. Although I had this with Hollow Knight 2 sometimes, and hard rebooting the Switch actually helped. And I think I'm gonna take a break in a little while and try doing this and see if the problem persists. It's a minor thing. It doesn't really fuck with my gameplay. I'm just curious if I can do anything about it. Indeed, it is the groan. It comes from the deepest core of this place, slithering in spirals, growing with one echo, distorting amidst the bronze embossings, the cry of three intertwined throats, born of single penance, a single mourning. Light hardly ever reaches here, only the cold and the groan. What if I take this out? Okay. I know. You guys look feisty. Let me tell you how much I like. I knew it would come and I still fell for it. Let me tell you how much I like the Flea Man in Castlevania. By the way. Oh wow. I mean, no damage, we get shot. So why wasn't this turned off? Because the rumble doesn't extend the experience all that much. Need to be smart about this. Smarter still. No. Not really striking me with anything either. Here. That fog spells doom. We don't need that right now, but good to know. And I really wouldn't mind an upgrade to our healing abilities. Not so much in number, but in strength. Right now the flasks are they leave me a little wanting. I just go for it? I have this item that reduces poison damage. Here's another combat challenge. This might be certain death. I dawdled way too long, and I deserve this. Still, new area, new enemies. Still confused about some of the button layout. That's okay. Swings while hanging from stuff would be really cool and helpful. Can't believe I keep falling for these guys. Guess that makes them a good enemy. Only the groan. Okay, no fuck-ups this time. ragdoll physics in this game are amazing. The guy is probably the heaviest fall animation since Batman in the Arkham games. Oh, this is gonna hurt. I need poison resistance, like real poison resistance. I'm still gonna keep this equipped for now. Oh, hello. Window's generous enough. Two strikes. Of course. There's two of them. Come on. No? Well, it's no whip, but it has decent range. Maybe don't do that in a cloud of poison. Okay, I'm not gonna get the relic. I am going to get my guild. Why was he still so tough? Did he just get secondhand smoke, or...? Mm-hmm. Mm. Motherfucker. It's busy work, but it's busy work that pays. I'm not sure I can go back to that room. Just yet. Oh shit. Should have healed earlier. I like these little gauntlets. As frustrating as they may be initially. felt good. Okay, I'm really in for it now, so gonna heal full up. And deal with these one by one. Come on. I would so love a save point. Well, shit. Hmm. Could have been worse. His last words were in blood. Shit. It's a little inconsistent what you can block or not, but I may just still be too inexperienced with the game. Seems to be a bigger break. Yeah. What? This is very reminiscent of my Catholic church. I mean, one would hope for authenticity, right? Shadowy figures in cloaks, tied to bells. It is to be devoutly wished for indeed. Oh sure, lay it all on me, will ya? Come on. I think I'm throwing blood. I have no idea what to do here. Also, oh yeah, I think these little embers will become something when I have a different item. So, also those girls with the cages on their heads with the the long-ass fencing swords. They are super naked under these gowns. But at least for once it doesn't feel like titillating the player was the objective. Sure, that didn't connect. Everything about this level sucks. I know I'm enjoying the challenge, but I feel very strung out. Oh, sweet mercy. There we go. Much better. Or not.
Penitent one in silence, will you require my assistance with your next task? Here I shall remain, lest you change your mind.
Well, thank you.
Penitent one, here I shall remain, lest you change your mind.
Still not sure what she does. Shit. Okay, that's a thing that's happening. I'm just gonna smear all that blood into my face, and that'll help. Ouch. Ouch! This boss is really cool. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. I'm gonna do a little more exploring before we go back to him. Then again, the boss may actually give us the stuff we need to no longer fear poison, if that's at all possible in this game, so... And based on the damage I did, I think with a little luck and self-discipline I can totally do this. Yeah. This woman in rags always comes up. When you're about to face a boss. Ugh. And I'm not sure what her help looks like, so far I've been too stubborn to ask for help. Maybe there's a lesson in there somewhere. No. Fine, it's not like I need my magic meter or anything. Still some gilder up there. This game is interesting in the sense that it obviously draws a little inspiration from Dark Souls here and there, but it doesn't take away your currency when you die. But your magic meter degenerates little by little. And that can be an issue. Also, it's an issue if you don't keep track of your health and don't heal. For some reason, that happens a lot to me here. By the way, how loud is the gamepad? Since I'm wearing headphones, it might not work just as that obnoxious to me, but I can absolutely do something about it if it's too loud for you. Oh, remember to heal. Shit. Always forward, never learning. Did they already only their spares manifested. I was like, did they already manifest waiting for me? We're trying to put on a show here. It's your it's your cue. Oh wow. Again, really bad at keeping track of my health in this game, which is weird because big red bar at the bottom left, top left. Should not be hard. Maybe that because there's so little in-game feedback about getting hit. Countering that felt really good. But I'm way behind on damage. Also, the Spanish guitar in this track is mesmerizing. God damn it. It's kind of a rock and a hard place because I had to go onto the wall at some point. And getting hit while hanging onto the wall is bad news. The floor's on fire. Hmm. Also not a place I wanna be when I'm on that wall. When she does that, I mean. It's the black. Let's see. What do you mean I can't do it here? Guess this ground is not sacred enough. Hi, Redmaker. Long time no see. I was actually just talking about how I get a lot of feedback from Mastodon users. You know, disproportionate to actual Mastodon use, and that's very encouraging to keep posting there. See if we can get maybe one more healing item. Yeah, it is. I guess it also helps that a lot of them, or not sure if any of them, run for profit. Meaning there's no incentive to keep toxic people around for advertisement impressions or whatever. Oh. What is that? Is that gonna turn around and just traumatize me? That's okay. Streaming or watching streams even can be a time-consuming hobby. Give the black reading veil. Yeah. Okay.
With this veil, I cover my face in mourning for the dead love for my betrothed.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me get out of your hair here and get back to my dungeon. Ah, I don't have magic to use my projectile. Yeah, I rarely stream on Saturdays, but my significant other is out for the afternoon. So I thought, yeah, let's play some more of this. It's pretty good. It's not roguelite, it's not even that roguelite. It's definitely a more of a Metroidvania, but then again, technically even Dark Souls is a Metroidvania, because that's more defined by its interconnectedness. Right, I couldn't go there before. What you do lose upon death is bits and pieces of your magic meter, and they then just scatter around all over the map unless you go pick them up. They're called guild because that's how this game rolls thematically. And yeah, you have to come collect your guild. Otherwise, your ability to do magic is severely hampered, but you also only get magic through slaying enemies, something that also works, apparently is less effective, and your ability to farm money is also hampered the more guild you have laying around on the world. Other than that, you don't really lose progress, other than how far you've been from your last save point. So yeah, it's closer to Souls than, say, Dead Cells. And it has a very strong aesthetic. I could see playing this game for too long could actually affect my mood. And on one hand, that's a testament to its strong aesthetic, but also might be a little much sometimes because it's dour and bloody and draped in themes of guilt and penitence and over the top medieval Catholicism imagery. And yeah, it's also quite difficult in a way that I can appreciate. Not too much. Don't you dare. Silent Hill 2, I played this in October for my Halloween streams, and I'm good for another 5 years. It's a terrific game, but good riddance for now. Whereas, say, Super Metroid, I can play this every year and probably have for most years since I first played it. Because it can get a little creepy, but you're still Samus around and you kick all kinds of ass. I'm not even on the right track. I'm actually in the process of picking out games for October. And I want to get a good mix between super serious stuff and maybe something with a little levity. So I was thinking that maybe on the serious side, Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs would be fun. Well, fun in major air quotes. That game is genuinely disturbing. And maybe on the sad side, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Because, well, that's not really much of a challenge to play. It's really nails the atmosphere and the mood of early Silent Hill. And on the fun end, maybe Resident Evil 4, because that game is campy as all hell, even though you get chased by chainsaw-wielding maniacs. Oh. Of course. Come up here. Not like this. Also, Demon's Crest just came out on the Switch as part of the Super Nintendo game drop. And that game is kind of a forgotten gem. You have to get it, right? It's just a fucking relic. What do you mean it keeps going while I'm in the menu? Demon's Crest is fun because you know how when back in the day for Super Nintendo games, anything beyond jumping and running was kind of a revelation, like the wall jump in Batman and Robin, and all that stuff. And in Demon Crest, you can fly right off the bat, and that's just pretty cool. Okay, Frontal of Martinos, the rope maker. Artisan Martinos Hafnia was unjustly accused of selling brittle strings and sentenced to be hanged with one of his creations. That very sad day, he regained his honor. God. Yeah, you collect reliquaries of... I'm not sure if they're even saints. So I guess they're not reliquaries, they're just body parts. But yeah, they're all... The stories surrounding them are all very, very sad. And sometimes have a bit of a sarcastic twist to them. Oh god, it keeps going. There better be something good up there. Shit. Kitty cat, what is it? The silvered lung of Dolphus. More body parts. Organ preserved in sparkling silver with plenty of filigrees. Cardinal Dolphus melted his spoons into a pot, looking to escape jealousies with the Argentine concoction. Protects the rare from poisonous miasma. We're finally free of poison. Oh. Oh, it's time to eat for the cats. Meaning I'll take a quick break with the cats, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. So, I did the full reboot of the Switch as I considered earlier. See if the little micro stutters that we've been experiencing might cease. Still have that lung, silvered lung of Dolphus. What's the use of gowns? What good is the gold from rings? Only the purity of silver that once was embellished possesses the grace of miracle. Silver should not be seen, it should not be worn on the outside of the body, but on the inside. Let it embellish the flesh, let it adorn the skin. Oh dear. Anyway, we can reconfigure a rosary, because we no longer need the toxin preservant. Not sure we ever needed it in conjunction with that mist. Let's see. Protection against lightning. Dodging cooldown. Yeah, let's go with that for now. But yeah, the mist is now completely benign, as long as we have that item equipped. Let's do some backtracking and get that one relic we could never acquire. And I went the wrong way again. I'm not even sure we're gonna make it at this rate. My timing is atrocious. What happened? Ooh. Finally. That didn't do shit. Oh, and not a rosary rope. That's great. I just need a teleporter out of this mess so I can... Because I honestly don't want to backtrack. It's probably easier to just beat the boss as is. Even though some upgrades would make the boss easier. Yeah, let's do the boss. Really won't let me pinch the heart of my... Well, there we go. Now we have a bigger time window for counterattacks. It should help with the... Would help with the spares. Shit. No, no. At least you don't lose any guilds when you lose a boss fight. Take a orb of cover. That's awfully centralized. Oh yeah, it's a very gracious time window. I wonder if you deal extra damage to the combined form as a reward for being so bold. Here. Getting faster. No healing left. Gotta be real diligent about this. Shit. Wow. Well, that's how it is now, huh? And you even get to watch another attempt. Because I just happened upon phase 2, and phase 2 is off the wall. But in a fun way. Honestly... Nah, it's fine. I really like bosses that have phases. Sometimes it's nice when these phases are checkpointed, but honestly, if a JRPG doesn't end with like 3 to 4 bosses one after another, I'm kinda disappointed. And really any game that has boss fights. Not gonna make this one. We're already out of healing. So it's also a really nice innovation in the Souls series when they started introducing boss phases. Super irritating when you barely made it to the second phase and then suddenly had to think on your feet again or adapt to a new strategy on the fly. But it's still cool. Yeah, I would call it mostly fair. You definitely feel very powerful. And I guess it helps that it's hard to sympathize or empathize even with the protagonist because they're such a cipher. You're on this quest to do 3 things, and I guess since our protagonist is called the penitent one, it has to do with making up for something bad. But at the same time, this world is so far gone in terms of its religious fanatism, you can't help but wonder if our character even did something bad by any sane standards. And even more so, the brutality that we dish out against everyone else is pretty off the wall. Shit. I did it. Requiem aeternam. I almost didn't realize how far gone the boss was, and that's when I did, I jumped down to the lowest platform and I was like, okay, I gotta do it now. Otherwise, bad things are gonna happen.
In the name of the great ordeal and the sons of the miracle, may the gold in my visage melt and erase the contrition of your soul. Heart of guilt, return now from the dream.
So far, the plot has really just been, you're the penitent one, collect 3 of these things. And the penitent one obliges. And apparently there's a quest giver of sorts.
You have carried out the second humiliation of penance. You have been allowed to meet the visage of contrition. You have yet to prostrate before one last holy visage. Sorrowful be the heart, penitent one.
That's the standard greeting in that world.
Sorrowful be the heart, penitent one.
Oh, I bet we're back at the cistern. Oh, so there's an elevator here? And that lady, whom I've met before.
Take the necks of my deep pains.
can't move while I'm on the elevator. But is there falling damage? I was about to say you have no idea, but what we just saw is pretty much, yeah, a pretty good representation. Can I at least get the stuff on top of it? Like, no? I guess I'm one double jump away from that. It's out on both. I think it's all on all major platforms. I opted for the Switch because the price was the same and I wanted to expand my Switch collection. But it's absolutely out on Steam. There we go. 38 is such a weird number. Either there is some reference I'm not getting, or maybe even hints at an expansion. There were some areas here covered in poisonous fog. Yeah, and even Dead Cells. I never finished that one. And I liked the game a lot. It's just, at some point, the actual progress you make in that game comes down to a glacial pace. And there was this other one. What was it called? Rogue Legacy. Also, really fun game, but at some point I just stopped running into that castle. Let me mute my microphone until the neighbors stop drilling at 6 in the afternoon on a Saturday. I have not, but I want to get back into it. I think the last big... God damn it. You can hear this, right? I think my last big Dead Cells splurge was before it went out of early access. Yeah, that feels like a good strategy. I think the game would benefit from maybe having this as a feature. Like before you actually unlock an item, you maybe get to play with it. Some games do that. They let you play with an upgrade before you commit to it. Yeah, the whole thing about the rotation getting poisoned with shitty items. Also something I wish they would work around by maybe being able to ban stuff from your rotation. Oh yeah, by the way, the game has executions. I'm not sure when they occur, but if you like a little bit of Mortal Kombat style gore, they're pretty rad. Hold up, not only are the neighbors power drilling now the cat started doing stuff. Yes, kitty, you. How about you settle down? Just sit quietly in a corner, because obviously you can demand it from a pet for hours at a time. On one hand, I really enjoy demanding, gameplay-wise, demanding. Games that really demand your attention. On the other hand, if it's something like Metal Gear, where they are talking for 10 minutes at a time, it's really nice to bust out the old kitty fishing pole and play with her for a little while. This way she gets attention and doesn't start getting up and shit, because that's what she does when she wants attention. And you don't have to interrupt your stream. Okay, now that we're immune from this shit. By the way, these exploding monks, who also respawn, they one-shot you. Why can't I not grab onto the edge here? Oh, this is frustrating. Really? I need another upgrade to get through here? It's gonna be the Holy Grail. I mean, it's either that or Pokemon Go on the phone, right? Christ. Let's see. I think I want to hurry over here and get to the teleporter. This is where we fought the first boss. Also a very, very joyous fellow. Let's spend some of our cash. It's called Tears of Sorrow because of course, but it's cash. And finally unlock the extra combo. And sure, while we're at it, also these. Oh. The Penitent one performs an upward slash as combo finisher. Press up and Y after a full 3 combo hit, okay? A Sacred Lunge. Perfects the lunge technique and makes even better use of the dodge impulse, making it reach farther. Kinda tempted to get this right away after a little bit of grinding, because this way I don't... This way I don't get used to the inferior range of it. Not really. Like, I could have gone grinding early on into the game because there were several upgrades available. But I got by without going into a Grand Fest, and now I would say the natural course of the game takes you through enough areas where you wind up grinding. So it's, I feel grinding is optional. Okay, it doesn't really build a combo unless we actually we actually hit something. We don't need this fella since we're free of guilt, ostensibly. Yeah, that's also, we have some healing herbs that we want to give the nice people in the village, so they can take better care of the people they take care of by kissing their wounds and sores, because apparently that's a thing people believed in. Oh, we opened this, huh? Blood perpetuated in sand. Of course. Preserved blood with miraculous properties. With the passage of its bearer, new ledgers are revealed, formerly invisible to the beholder's eyes. The miracle is truly unfathomable. Hard to believe, and no one knows the origin of the blood that swirls around the wearer's feet. Okay, now I can think of several areas we can go now. There were these little embers over certain chasms. And I imagine I will now be able to see new platforms. This is like the starting area, which is why these folks are not particularly threatening. This is new. Wait. The painted wood bead. Sphere covered in yellow varnish. The chipped paint betrays its origin. Hallmark of the first of the Holy Line. It recovers health when destroying surrounding objects. Yeah, Windmill Slim, yes. Do enemies count as objects, I wonder? They don't. I wanna... yeah. Want to give them a little bit of order. Got the dodging cooldown. Creates fervor. Fervor is magic or mana. So now we destroying objects gives both health and mana, which is nice. This one increases defenses, and this one strengthens the vitality of the wearer while muttering prayers. So I guess magic gives me health? I don't know. Have a good one, Redmaker. And if you end up playing this, have loads of fun. Ah, I've already seen it. It's a good time. Thank you. Oh, wrong button. I think I want to remove this Heart of Virtuous Pain. Just like I said, I don't want to get attached to the longer dodge window.
Bring me anything that can be blessed, so you might crush this fate of mine and let me cross to the other side of this false dream. Bring me...
Apparently I don't have anything. I do, however, have some herbs.
Merciful be, penitent one. With your contribution, the work of this brotherhood carries on.
Oh, he just gave us Tears of Atonement. That's okay. I'll take cash. In fact, let's go down to the Sword Shrine and get that improved lunch. Yeah. And now, I guess we should finally take a trip into the mountains. Where Olive's tree there. Pretty much done down here. Although there were a few areas where the new blood item would be helpful. Oh, we'll figure it out. Almost.
In this place, we gather the remains of those who were separated and forgotten, so we can grant them holy burial, as our charitable rule prescribeth. Help us these poor souls, O penitent one in silence. The Order blesses you.
What are those little ones that seem to hide up in the ceilings among the ornaments of the altars? When I call them, they do not appear to pay me any mind. They are covered in... ribbons that give the impression of fluttering in an invisible, imperceptible, constant wind. At times I hear them cry, at times I hear them laugh. What are you, O creatures of divine race? Someone who could see the little Little angels. Can't do anything about that yet. Sorry, gotta reply to a text. Okay. Oh, spikes. Yeah. Kinda feels bad that we now get health for that. There's an area we couldn't explore before. Oh, hi!
On the path lies the solace and the life. Prithee heed my prayers, O Lord of the bare feet. Oh, forgive me, penitent one. Without my knowing, amidst prayers, our roads and faults become intertwined once more. What can I do to avoid the difficulties that the miracle layeth in front of my bare feet?
Wings would help. Yeah, well. Guess we need something like the Spikebreaker armor. Symphony of the Night. Shit.
What can I do to avoid? What can I do to avoid?
Hmm. Shit. Okay. There you go, buddy.
Oh, penitent one, is it true that the roads are free? Wondrous vision thou allowest me to behold. Blessed be our encounter.
Little toe made of limestone. Toe from the statue of the first barefoot pilgrim. The vestige little toe pushed the stones out of his path, increases dodging distance. Ooh. Okay. And when it comes to the basic defensive maneuvers, I get used to stuff that might not be forever. I have a feeling that this is where we need to go and have done the 3 things.
Here lies the door, on whose bronze the ordeals of those chosen by the miracle are perpetuated. On it, for the art of these images to be worshipped and revered, ornamentation must take place. His sculpted holiness watches us, rigid, from on high. But it is the relief of the bronze that dictates who is worthy of passing under its adorned arch. Find the holy visages, and the bronze will know.
So I took care of the creature on top. I took care of the 3 maidens at the bottom. So the gentleman in the middle.
For fickle are the wishes of the miracle.
Hmm. The blood leads the way. Tendudius can't. Tendudius carnal remains. Remains of the murdered novice Tendudia that were isolated from the rest so she could not receive her holy burial. Who was Tenturia? You asked? Well, she was once a girl born in this same yellowish village of Albero, like you and me. On her 15th year, something extremely unusual happened. Her parents watched as part of her hair began twisting, unavoidably turning into very thin thorns. Concerned with the thought that it might be a punishment from the miracle, they locked her in as a novice inside a distant nunnery, famous for its strict cloistering, thus preventing the discovery of what would have undoubtedly been considered heresy. Okay. answer. So many strange places that you can interact with if you have the right item. The tree lied to me. I hope my guild is not up there. Okay, that's on me. My brain suddenly decided, no, you don't remember how these things work. Oh. And we're back. There's more stuff up there. There's also this entrance here. Incense garlic. All white as bone, very hard to find. Its intense aroma, reminiscent of sandalwood, is only noticeable on rainy days, betraying its hiding place. It was sought after by the herbalists with the best sense of smell for its miraculous properties. Ever since then, our pious guesses have saved hundreds from the affection of the miracle that ravages these lands, and from then on our congregation has been called that of the Kissers of Wounds. To quote the novel Dracula, kisses for everybody, and yes, it's exactly as sinister as it sounds. What are you? Not a moment's peace, huh? Shit. Hey, that person just self-immolated. Okay. And nasty, but not too tough. You know, just because. This area is gorgeous, by the way. Must have been like, yeah, how about some beauty in this game? Something. Something truly inspiring. I guess snow landscapes are still sad. Use that. Shit, my healing is spent. I have a ways to go, so... What do you mean, this place? Maybe it's gonna be a shortcut to open up later on. The map definitely tells me that there's something else going on in that room. Oh, no you don't. Damn. I got played. So maybe there's a save point here. Huh. Not only that, it's a hidden door. Ankle-bone of Weston the Pilgrim. His traveling companion assured him that he would wait for him at the next shelter just a day away. When Weston arrived the next day, there was no one there. Or the day after that. Let's try and get our guild back. Remains of that person's hair. Let's get out of here. Remains of the thorned hair of the novice Tentudia that were isolated from the rest of, so she could not receive a holy burial. Tentudia spent several years in that nunnery, and as she grew up, it became harder and harder to hide her hair. It wouldn't stop twisting and growing thorns, and the blood from the wounds it caused her did not take long to stain her pure white habit. The nuns, upon realizing, were frightened by it, and soon began considering her cursed and a heretic, just as the parents of the girl had feared would happen. Oh, this didn't end well for her, huh? I mean, we already saw that. We already learned that she died. Without hope for a holy burial, so by that world standards, she was pretty well fucked. Merchant? Merchant!
Let us be captives of the miracle, penitent one. This is a precious treasure to me. Its value goes far beyond what I ask for it. And may I don mourning black if I'm trying to deceive you?
Amber of holy cremation. Amber crystallized through a long forgotten ritual. It retains some of the heat of the bonfire lit on a different land. A bonfire lit in a different land. Subtle. Dampers the heart, increasing the defense of whoever carries. 5,000.
What I am offering you here is, and may my
Eyeball belonging to Alvaros the scribe, who glimpsed the truth hidden in so many other eyes. Its stony scrutiny reveals the vital essence of enemies. Oh. Not nothing.
What I am offering you, and may my
Torn bridal ribbon. This soft white ribbon used during marriage ceremonies has been torn, thus destroying its delicate embroideries. One of the three remains of an unfinished ceremony. The wounds inflicted by a broken oath rarely ever find healing. Oh. Getting this. Oh.
What I am offering you, and may my...
Getting this. And this one. This one. I mean, there is one option. Sacrifices must be made. Not a lot of rosary rope. Am I close to a teleporter? What? An immaculate bead. Simple bead devoid of purpose. Its pristine surface has never been soiled by fragrant fingers. I have something for you, and for you alone, revealed the gypsy to a monk who had just stopped his donkey as she uncovered a white stone possessing a strange beauty. It comes from the darkness of the ocean floor. Contemplate its purity. Look at its immaculate white, its virgin brilliance. What could be purer than this for your rosary, brother? Devoid of purpose, huh? There's a riddle. I was actually convinced this would take me up, but fine. Oh, neat.
Merciful be, penitent.
Some money, and yeah, I want to extend our rosary. Excuse me, coming through. Really curious about the one that ostensibly serves no purpose. Reminds me of that elevator in Hollow Knight that leads you to the back to the village later on. It is closer now. The crying faces of ice announce the proximity of the convent. The presage of the pain awaiting inside its walls. I ask the cold to be merciful and allow me to climb to the peaks, or I'll be reborn as a sister of the golden visage. This is helpful. That wind is no slouch. Goes both ways too. I really need an extension on that range. An empty vial vessel. It is good design, also that some places only become accessible through the wind push, although I hope they don't rely on this repeatedly later on, because then this is gonna become a death march. Also, hi Azimek. How are you? That was not my intention. There's something really stoic about these. That was on me. Okay, got the vessel there. Oh, there's more. Oh no, there's more. Not again. Have you by any chance been playing Astro Chain? Because that control scheme is overburdened. Never played the Xenoverse games, but yeah, I can see that becoming an issue in a fighting game. I mean, so far I really enjoy Astral Chain. And I've come around on the controls. I think they're okay now, rather than convoluted and hard to learn. But they're by no means great. Shit. I actually only use it when I remember that it's there. But yeah, it's also mapped, they also mapped up crouching to it. Which is stupid, because crouching on a left, on the right stick has been in several games, and it has worked well for those. Oh god, this level is gonna fuck me up. Yeah, now that's definitely an issue. This particular shit. Oh no. Also, just the way that you initialize the cutting action with one button, but then you have to execute it with another button, and there's a third button that you can push to slow down time, because they must have realized that this entire thing was way too hard to pull off without slowing down time, so this definitely feels like a game design band-aid. Overall, it's a really cool fighting system, but I wish they had let it bake a little longer. Maybe they're even gonna patch some stuff. I would hope. Come on, show me your hitbox. have found that if a control scheme really messes with me, and I happen to play the game on Steam, the Steam controller settings let you remap controls in every game. And I may or may not play Castlevania Lords of Shadows soonish, and that one uses the left trigger to dodge, whereas in just about any other game I've played recently with a dodge button mapped to a shoulder button, to a trigger, it was the right trigger. So I did a quick check of whether or not I could change it by way of the Steam controller settings, which work on any controller, not just the Steam controller. And yeah, that was nice. It was a nice reprieve from some bullshit. Fuck. Speaking of bullshit. Oh, that sounds convoluted as fuck. Yeah, I actually used this when I borrowed a PlayStation 4 from a friend to play Bloodborne, to make it a little more like Dark Souls. Because on those games, I need a square button to heal. I'm helpless if it's changed around too much. And I wound up putting the weapon change ability on triangle, that sort of stuff. I mean, an L3 or an R3, like the stick buttons, I feel differentiating between holding and tapping those is difficult because you need a lot of force to activate them to begin with. But otherwise, yeah, you can absolutely use that for face buttons or shoulder buttons. Son of a bitch. There we go. Should not be greedy. Oh god. Yeah. No, that makes sense, yeah. Also, those buttons in general, they are so hard to press and can muck up so much, like movement and camera controls. Those should really just be a last resort for game design in general. They're there, but just because you're there doesn't mean you should be too cavalier about using them in an action game situation. No! This fucking level. I mean, that's something I liked about the actual Steam controller. I wound up being very lukewarm about the touchpad. Like, I had really high hopes about making more games playable on a gamepad with it, and I wound up not really using it all that much. But it had these nice little grip buttons that you could activate with your with the fingers around the gamepad, and they were just really nice redundant buttons to have, or extra buttons. No, I think the analog button is here to stay, and I can see some uses for it, but those uses should definitely reflect what they are and what they are not. Oh, god damn it, this fucking way. Doesn't help that I'm getting hungry. And I'll probably start thinking about making dinner soon. Okay. Hell's Heart and such and such. God damn it. At least the game inspires you to be creative about your swearing. Hi, kitty cat. You're about to jump onto my lap, aren't you? Oh, you're not. Still, you have concerns, hmm? Yeah, no. I'm about to pack this in. Although another checkpoint would be nice. I mean, console makers can always release style guides and design manuals in the hope that people actually give a damn about them. Cat, why? What is it? Hmm? Oh, he's looking at me very cross. That's right. The things I do. Shit. I was not looking for a second and the wind got to me. Damn it. think I'm done for the day. I need to eat. I'm obviously losing my mojo here. But this has been a fun stream. And yeah, I might do another one tomorrow night. I'm still a little loosey-goosey on the schedule, even though I wound up actually streaming more. Yeah, like that. That could work. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you probably tomorrow with more of this madness. Bye.